This is day 988 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you like sponsor, come share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. This time we directly, we very greatly appreciate it. Here we're doing siman Tafrei Shayin Gimel again, Sif Yud through Tezayin. Rabbeinu Rama Kosav al Zeh, he wrote this, Zeh L'shono, and this is what he writes. This Eino Gimel L'Osif, Rak Miniach Eitzlan Hashamash. We don't add candles, but we put next to them a shamash. The Mishnah Berurah says you should put best besides that to put another candle on the table besides the shamash. Okay. Surely can air to fake. You want to use to light candles. It's better to do this. Yeshua says Yosa Arukh Mishai nails should make it longer than the other candles. Should bow Yishtamesh also in there. If you use the 8 candle, it'll be that one. I guess if it's longer, it's more likely that you're using it. Famous loving the Asa to minute should be Yom Lama Lahem Ner Yoser. So the tour we saw yesterday said that Mosif in there Acher, and it should not be the Shamish, right? The ain't shame Shamish Halov Kil Shamish Malik Boneris. That's what he said yesterday. Sif test. So according to the tour, you need 2 candles, the shamish and the initial candle that you can be mishtamish oro. But the Rama says no, we only have one, the shamish, and we put it by the other candles, and that's the one which Mishnah better make the Rama says better make longer, but nevertheless, that the shamish is the candle mishtamish oro, and Mishnah Berurah, I guess, is choshish for the tour. That's why he says better put another candle on the table. But Arukh HaShulchan says, "Bemis loving das to be of Shem Yom. Lama lem ner yoso l'shamash. Bein should somebody else shamash. Can't say they didn't have a shamash to a Messiah. So it says explicitly, vein shem shamash halav. The name shamash is not on that candle with which you use you rely on that you're using. It's like shamash yom mali boner. There's another thing, the candle which is the shamash with which you light the other candles, like kalashon. Can you hold them shamash? Matzirot so add a shamash. Why do you need additional candle? The fact that shamash hadif taste, especially because the shamash is superior, because the Rabbeinu Rama, like Rama writes, betamo the zemuchach behedia the sheim mianeros, and his reasons because this is clear that it's not from the count of the candles. But do Arukh HaShulchan, especially because it's longer, so you put it higher than other candles. So therefore, the question is why you need additional candle besides the shamash. Yudal. Nearly a time Mishum the Kashlu. So the tour, you try once you actually tour because it's difficult. You know the count to use its light. Kasha. My commercial what's failing us. Pshita. Came to us now I have to use the light. So obviously need another candle. Bemesh Ran Pirish to Ashar says Sakana. Ran says going to time Sakana. The Michal Shulchan. We leave it on your table. Since it's on your table, by definition, you're going to use its light. Which is siman Tafrei out. See if Chafav Ayin Shom. I have a tour sober Dachi Perusha, but the tour holds that this is what you have. This means ordinary Achen Osaf Beseder Haneros. You need another candle, which is in the same row as the existing candles. And the shamash doesn't work if it's at a distance. Or another candle in the house at a distance. Because then we're afraid you're going to use the Hanukkah candles, and there's no candle nearby. And the shamash at a distance does you no good. It's another candle in the house. Because you're going to. It's a problem when you go do something in the proximity to the Hanukkah candles. That's another candle. Sham Gufa Beseder Haneros. You need another candle there, specifically in the order of the candles. Test. I would also a poskim shekosher tzarich ner acheres lamila b'fnei atzma. Those who say you need another candle and to set it separately brings down brackets much because Beisyetzer B'Bach B'Shem Rabbeinu Yerucham say Derech HaNisham answer Kav Torah. They're not going like Torah. Because Rabbeinu they're going like our minute like the remote and just the additional candles, which is the sham, which is a slight distance. And the bracket says here Beisyetzer B'Bach B'Shem first Shulchan Aruch Shakum De Achasem. They say everybody holds the same thing. Begam kavanas l'tur. I mean, if the answer l'tur also means there's no additional candle. The shamash stands on its own. We demonstrate it's not the case. The Torah holds you need two extra candles, whereas everybody else holds you need one. Yud base. I mean, you said yearly, and it seems to me better to say. I mean, again, we actually are see both. So, that the additional candle should be specifically by the Hanukkah candles, like you wrote. But there's a bunch of tzichnei AhS. I'm the answer. An opinion that you should have another candle which stands by itself. How so? By putting the shamash there, and it's longer or higher than the other ones. That way, we relate with the Torah's opinion that has to be together with the other candles. That's a poskim. Let me look at the answer. The opinion of the poskim who hold it has to be itself. They should negotiate, so it should be cognizant that's not one of the candles which of the count of the night. When we make the shamash higher or lower, so that gives that is the hokacha. So according to this, you have an interesting chiddush, which is the shamash, even if you put it distant from the other candles, it's got to be higher or lower in order to fulfill the Torah's issue. That it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be for to fulfill the Torah and the other minyan. So there has to be that the shamash should be nicker that it is a separate candle. Okay, it's a bit messy, the Torah, in any event. You give of dashi yesh mishu kosav. There's the one who's right. Shabi sheyesh ne'acheres, even though it's another candle. Also shtamish etzon. You still can't use do anything in proximity to the kind of candles. Mishum da'goya yomer tzarchol adli kulam. Because then the people see who doing that will say, oh, it must be none of the candles are Hanukkah candles. Sometimes a person lights several candles. But this is astonishing. It seems quite clear from the one of the poskim. When there's another candle, then you're allowed to use the light. Or even though by the additional Hanukkah candles, there's more light than if you only had the shamash. We're not concerned about income mitzvah. It's the shamash being there takes away from the denigration of the mitzvah. And therefore you see clearly that the other candles lit for the mitzvah in their Hanukkah. Below Nizkar Dover Zeb Torah poskim is not mentioned in the Torah or the poskim that you're not allowed to use the candles once even after there's a shamash. But the Mishabura does mean that Avraham says that you should not use do something by the collection of the Hanukkah candles in the shamash, but only by the light, the additional light, or by the light of the shamash only, and that only works when it's distant, when it's separate from the rest of the candles. Big chumrah, big kula in Arukh HaShulchan, big chumrah in the Mishabura. The brackets here is long brackets here. Ramban discusses as far as Zu. Ramban writes as far as Zok Shemnichel Shulchan. That's when you put it on a table. Kumash Kosav Amachs the shekel. The Achsvar, the Roe Omer, the Tzarchu, the Adlik, Lo Nemra Bagmar Rak Shemalik Shlom Komo. This is where they say that the person who's lying is not lying for Hanukkah. It's only when you're not lying in the proper place. In other words, you put on a table as opposed to by the doorway. Avam Komo, but if it's in the doorway, there's only issue of denigrating the mitzvah. And there's another candle, there's no denigration of mitzvah. The Ba'amor also holds king. When you light it on your table, because you have a ran, then the Ba'amor learning to cloud shamash. It says much because of Magen Avraham. And the Ba'amor does not mention the shamash resolution. It's saying what's on the table. You can't use it because of bizur mitzvah. Because I should say because the tzarcho dadlik. Because the people who say the bizur mitzvah is when it's placed by the door. On the table there's a bizur mitzvah and with problem with tzarcho madlik. But the more is saying in case there's no shamash. V'arei b'atzmo became b'shem Rabbeinu Yerucham. Zakamas Rabbeinu Yerucham b'divrei Magen Avraham tzarchim. Kamash kosim because he gaidim Rabbim Madlikim tzarich l'kol echad shamash. And I mean, okay, I think the minhag is that way, but he says the minhag is not that everybody has a shamash. And Marshal would say, evidently Marshal also says that, but the Mishnah Berurah Paskins, like Magen Avraham, that everybody gets a shamash, not just one person. Okay, Yudal, Kasar Ben Ramah, the Sof Sifab, Im Nisar Ner Chanukah, Asur Banoah, B'Shar Neiros, if Ner Chanukah was Asur Banoah, as it's got Soilim Mitzvasa, doesn't give the mitzvah, got mixed with other candles. I feel Echel Behel, if it's 1 in 1,000, lo batil. It's not nullified. That would be Davar Sheminian, because Ner Chanukah candles are counted. And therefore, Davar Sheminian is not batil. But of course, but it's not batil. Yadik Men Tervis Kokach, Shabbat Ner Shel Heter Dolekim Ner Shel Isser. You should have to light enough candles from this mixture that you definitely have one candle, which is mutter, to get lit together with the candle of Isser. As mutter shtamish, and then you can do activities in proximity there, but there are two. Kumar, meaning miyad. So he says, when is that actually case? It's when you actually started lighting. You did a maisi. Because it's Maralab Milsa. The nichbasa and then immediately become extinguished. Asur bano, it's asur bano. The ulonika dain, because if it's not yet lit, ain't asur bano. It's no asur bano. It's not asur bano. That's mana chamilsei. Okay, well, like I said, avok shenidlaka when it's lit, and it goes out. And asur bano, it's also the right benefit. Avogad the batzal pasuk you're there. Racing with kufi the dafka double shadarkli knows the tami lo batil. The psal he asking you're there that only something which is you always count is not batil. I mean, my family working but sometimes they sell by weight, by volume, I guess it is but okay, that's a chiddush to me. I know what Nabisman is that you'll never find people selling candles by weight. I guess perhaps back then they did. But he says, in any event, that's other candles. You always sell by number, the mitzvah. Because the significance of the mitzvah, therefore they cannot be nullified. Mishnah Berurah says, according to Taz, according to Ramah, that specifically when they got mixed up during the days of Hanukkah. But it was got mixed up on the 8th day, after the 8th night, and certainly afterwards, then the Chashivas is Bata. And it's like Yavesh be Yavesh, and it's Bata Barov. I guess, because then it reverts to another type of candle, which is not a Davar Shemini. I'm not sure about that because, like I said, I think they're all nobody sells candles by weight. Anyway, Sharatzion asks, it's talking about that. That's interesting when he says that it has to be whatever's left is enough that you light for half an hour, because it's less than a half an hour's worth. It's batel mechashibuso, and again it'll be batel to if it got mixed up into a mixture. Fascinating. Anyway, so the back of Arukh ain't heter kshiyen ner shel heter mitol b'yagim ner also. There's no heter unless the candle of heter is burned together with the candle of Isser, and it's arba ner AhS Yomi at least 10 neros. So if we have one Chanukah candle got mixed in, you should light 2 candles. If arba shtayim 2 got mixed in, you have to light 3 candles. V'chein lo'ilach, etc. K'modem ner Chanukah atzmo, just like ner Chanukah itself, yesh lo ner and yesh ner achter. With the shtamish or you're allowed to use the light when it's a shamash. So too in the mixture. If one of the candles is mutter, the mutter shtamashor you can use use the light. So there's more light because of the usher candles. We're not concerned like we saw above. Which will say some poskim that hold that dafka shamish, which is above all the candles, makes them mutter, as opposed to if they're all in the same line and using all of them equally, so then you have enough in a Chanukah, and more tzia seems to indicate the Lamaisa should be machmir. So he is much more machmir, obviously, but we know that from before already. There's always arguing in this the basic halacha. They don't hold to Davar Shemini. And after it's mixed up, its significance is negated. Shulavi Davar Shemini, it's not something which is counted. It's batel 1 and 2. So when it's extinguished, its significance is gone. Even by itself, similar to what Mishnah Berurah said before. It's batel 1 and 2. Kidin Yavish, like any mixture of dry and dry. The Kemachika is a Davar Shemini rak midrabanan, which we are there, Sham. Yesh nismocha on mekilim. Since Davar Shemini is just Rabban, you can rely on those who are lenient. Sharatzion says in Makim Hefsei Meruba Efshar Sheyesh L'Hakel. That's Rabbanan. Not just Stam, as in generic case, the Savi Rabbanan like the Arukh HaShulchan. V'yeshu Tim Lasor Kamitam Kavua. Those who say that Kol Kavua Mechza Dami applies at any davar, when any davar chashuv gets mixed in to other things, it's not true. The kavod daraisa ain't gone. There's no kavod daraisa here at all. Because you can't tell the isser determine it in and of itself. Kavod rabbanan ain't eliminate davar shemini. The kavod rabbanan, which is matched, is only davar shemini. Came with shibrana shein said davar shemini. According to this opinion, we're told it's not davar shemini. Mainly stalika kavua. There's no kavod. Dvarim elu is barim yoredea sham. It's explaining yoredea. And evidently, Arukh HaShulchan holds a mice that way. That it's not double shem minyan, and therefore it will be batel. Tesai kaim lam b'gemara sham. B'gemara we learn of that. Kav saying zogla, if the candle gets extinguished, you do not have to relight it. Klomar came when she lika, since you lit it via b'shemen and had enough oil. Kashir for the necessary amount. Vika mitzvah says laka, and the primary part of the mitzvah is the lighting. Or also mitzvah, so you do the mitzvah. Vein is alkukah lika. Upon he doesn't have to light it again. I feel Erev Shabbos Shemadlik Oga Yom Gadol. Erev Shabbos when you light when it's still daylight out. The cups of Kabbalah Shabbos who goes out before Kabbalah Shabbos. Shodai Mibod Yom. It's still during the day. You call Makom nevertheless. He knows all you don't relight it. With him Achash Yidika Baal Tak Number Kibo Sovashon. It's true even if after you lit it you came to fix it. It was sputtering or something, and inadvertently you put it out. He knows all you don't have to relight it. Yesh in the Erev Shabbos Uchiv B'lik Pam Shei. Some arguments saying Erev Shabbos you have to light a second time. Ach below bracha, but don't make a bracha. Second time shaykh far bir koroi because you already made appropriate bracha. The kosh came b'chol is certainly true on a weekday. Mishrotzah achmir on someone he wants to be machmir. Lachzor alikon and go back and light again. Ein lebarach aleh. You should not make a bracha. Roy lachmir on someone lachzor alik below bracha. Avagad b'nei tzorch. It's appropriate to go back and light again without bracha, even though according to strict law you do not need to do so. Lo gora mihadam mitzvah. It's no worse than any other hitter mitzvah. There's only if you originally put enough oil. You also didn't put a place where the wind blows on it. Didn't put enough oil. Or you put in a place where the wind is blowing. So already from the time you lit it, it is destined, inevitably, to be extinguished. You're required, according to the letter of law, to go back and light again with a bracha. The first bracha was a bracha batala. Some say the beruach ain't if the wind is the issue, don't go back and make a bracha again. Which we're passing the way as well. The shema also ruach loya bari shi chabur, because maybe that wind was not clear that would extinguish the candle. I mean, bari shi chabru chabir pamshita chosavach. It was a wind which it was obvious and it was blowing and put out candles. Then you would have to go back and make a bracha again. Normally we would finish here because that was the Zion, but we have one more short sif left for the siman, so let's finish Tov Reish Ayin Gimel. A pottery candle that's used one night, nasa yosher mos, it becomes old and disgusting. Can't use it another night. Take a new pottery light each night. You only have an old light from yesterday. Then you have to burn it all night in the oven. Nice chodesh becomes like new. If it's metal, it doesn't have to be renewed. If it's glass or or glazed pottery, it's like metal. But with the wicks, you don't have to be concerned to switch them until such time as they disintegrate. The message the wick does not become disgusting. Rather, on the contrary, old wick is better to light from than a new one. Like it says, psila is supposed to be singed and then used. And that in says brackets here, Shabbos Kov Ches on base, psila shkipula v'lo yivava pe'eshrashi, kidei shtei mechureches, to be like once it's burned a little bit, then it's the second time it burns better. And that's why some people have a minute to light the candles for their wives for Shabbos, prepare them. So easy to light the second time, although the Chazon Ish said it does not apply to our candles, it only apply to oil candles, because our candles, the wax candles work differently.